last scene of the movie and the power goes out.
All of our lights aren't working.
And we still haven't locked in our location because we don't know where we're going to shoot this movie.
My name is Emily Topper, and I play Laura in the short film Greg.
I play Alan Pearson in the film Greg.
I'm playing Kate in the movie Greg.
I play the role of Carolyn in the movie Greg.
I play Brad.
And I play Dan.
I play real Greg, not the fake Greg, the real one.
Greg is a long time in the making. I got a dummy from my friend Adam, who received the dummy from a friend of his that used this dummy to drive in the HOV lane. And Adam ended up not wanting it, so he pawned it off to me.
We kind of just hung on to it for a few years until finally we decided to write this story called Greg.
So, Greg, what do you do?
From the time we wrote the script for Greg to the time we shot it, I think was about 4 years.
Every few months or maybe every year we'd look at the script and be like, man, this script's really good, like we should make this, but it never really came to be until, January of this year. We were like, let's make Greg.
Dad, Mom, this is Greg.
So we're probably just a few weeks out from when we're going to shoot, and we still haven't locked in our location because we don't know where we're going to shoot this movie.
But we did what we do best, throw it out online, and luckily we had a awesome couple hit us up, and they were going to be out of town the same time we would be filming. And when puzzle pieces fall into place, like that was this.
Like elves, the Grinch has like goblins.
When me and Brad and Luke were talking through ideas for set decks for the movie, we were kind of seeing who would Laura's character be. And so I was doing a lot of research on 90s bedrooms, and I grew up in like early 2000s, so I kind of took what my bedroom looked like as a kid and mixed it with kind of a 90s feel. Then I reached out to Emily Topper, who plays Laura, and I had her bring an entire folder of her childhood memories and pictures that she has. So a lot of the photos that you see on the walls in the background are a mixture of my life and her life, which is kind of cool.
And sound speed.
7i, take 4.
In the past, we've done storyboards and Photoshop files of the location, and we've learned over time that that can be very time consuming, but this time we decided to use technology and do LiDAR scans of the whole house so we could see in 3D space, and we were able to base our shot list off of that. And when talking through it, we were able to move the camera through these rooms. So I think it was a really cool experiment and something that we'll be able to incorporate even more.
And I'll be like, I point, because directors are always pointing and stuff, Like, we should probably move that.
There's a common way things are done in the film industry, and that is 15-hour days. What that means is a lot of times people are working way more hours than they should, not able to get enough rest, and we have ran into this with every movie we've made pretty much.
It's exhausting. You go to sleep or in bed with cramps. You're just like kind of like crying to yourself a little bit in bed at night, and then you have to wake up super early and you have to go do it all again. So the production on Greg was, I can't begin to tell you, it was so much better than previous short films that I've worked on.
We decided we're going to give ourselves more time than we think we need. We're going to try to keep it down to like a normal 8 hours of shooting and see, can we pull off the movie that way? It may cost us a little more, but in the end, it was totally worth it because we weren't there at 3 in the morning still filming. So it was a pretty cool experiment that turned out to be something I think we'll continue to do in the future.
For real. I'm literally about to say that. Just jump in this phone. Oh my god, it's on your phone!
I think the craziest thing we did in all of this is we had the start of all of filming being the makeout scene.
It's Emily's first day on set. Probably her first time meeting some of the people here. Definitely her first time meeting Greg, the dummy. And so she gets thrown into a scene where she has to, as the script says, make out furiously with Greg.
But Emily Topper, you killed it in all of the role. She really made you believe at times that she was dating this actual cotton dummy.
How heavy is he that heavy?
Oh, he's pretty heavy.
It's like heavy.
He's got a badonk on him
There's
right
like
now.
20 pounds.
He's got a dope.
So something else that we learned is if you're working with an actor that he's not alive. He can't sit up properly on his own. He just leans forward and falls over. So our solution to that was we have weights. So we put the plates in his butt and it made him sit there. But the thing about that is you really have to reach in there and get down there to put the weight in so that he sits properly. And, you know, gravity exists. Gravity is real.
Well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
So it moves the weights down into his legs. And whenever you need to have him stand up, you have to get rid of the weight. And the weights are now towards the ground in his legs. So you have to really reach in there and you have to pull the weights out. And it looks not good to everyone else around you.
There would be times where I would have to hold the front of Greg and Ellis would be reaching down trying to get the weights out of his butt. And honestly, from several angles, it looked a little sketchy.
The craziest thing was that last day of filming, the power goes out.
We're literally about to film the last scene of the movie and the power goes out.
I don't know if you heard this right, but we're about to film the last scene of the movie and the power went out.
And the last page.
The last page.
So, I don't know if you know this, but word on the street is we've lost power and we were about to film the last scene. And that means all of our lights aren't working. We're getting shots right by the Christmas tree and it can't work because the bulbs are all plugged into the outlets.
So we're kind of freaking out trying to see how are we going to shoot this. Let's go downstairs. We check the basement. We're looking through the breakers. No breakers are blown, anything like that. Someone lets me know power's out all over town. There's no power at Walmart, all these things like that. So I'm like, if they don't have power at Walmart, then we're definitely screwed. So we're going to basically just shoot this with no power. Maybe we're going to have to like superimpose the lights onto the Christmas tree later. We'll complement or something. And then all of a sudden, right before we're about to film the final scene, boom, the power comes back on. We're able to shoot everything. We were definitely probably a couple hours behind schedule because the power had gone out, but we were able to get it all knocked out.
Scene 5 Alpha, take 4. We were filming at the end of May, a Georgia summer, and this is a Christmas movie. And for some reason, we had 3 scenes at the door, shooting outside, and past me was talking to Luke and we were like, this isn't gonna work. The trees should be dead. And Luke was like, should we hang up a green screen? And past me was like, we got it. We'll auto rotoscope them out. Whenever I got into the post room, I cursed myself out. And we had to basically cut out all the actors from like 3 to 5 shots for each scene. And you had to get in there and get the teeniest little pixels out from under their armpits, in between their hair, in between where they're hugging. So if you're ever gonna do that, just put up a green screen. Just do it. Just take the extra 20 minutes on set because it's gonna save you 20 hours in post.
See all of stuff.
It make me not feel good.
Sometimes you get a little ambitious on set and you think, we could save time if we shoot this as a oneer. And they can definitely cut down a little bit on time on set, maybe shooting, maybe even a little bit on editing, but you gotta get the shot perfect, so there's a little bit more practice involved. So we decided to do one of the scenes as a oneer, and the actors were doing great, but there's still a thing that happens when you get into the editing room. You notice little things that you would want to change slightly. Like maybe you liked the way they said this one line at the beginning of this take, but you like this other line at the end of this take. And you're like, I really wish I could splice those together. So when you've done it in a oneer, that makes it a little difficult. So we had to get a little creative. One thing we had considered was we were going to literally take a shot of the character Alan from a different part in the film, and we were going to place him in, and then we were going to film on a green screen, an arm coming in going onto his shoulder, so that we could comp these shots together and have a shot in between that we could cut to, which would be totally fabricated. I think we could have pulled it off. We have a really funny video of what that looked like when we were just testing it out. But instead of doing that, I realized that I could maybe cut on the action. We just crop in a little bit on the shot that we're trying to get to, and it pretty much works as a cut.
Alan.
Hey, Greg's family too.
When you watch the film, there's an intro sequence where we start to see photos of Laura, the main character's ex-boyfriends, with their faces X'd out. And the first shot is the only real photograph in the entire intro sequence. I actually had to make every other shot completely in 3D. And that includes the one with the title sequence at the beginning where we pan and we go past a Christmas tree. I was able to utilize our footage from set and get perfect reference for recreating every single angle that we needed.
2, 3.
That's a wrap!
Oh, hey! Thanks for watching this video, and special thank you for all the cast and crew for making Greg. If you like what you saw, check out more of our behind the scenes or our amazing short films here on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Thanks.